Let's talk about the rat race, or the 9 to 5, or the matrix. They're all referring to this cycle. You work a job to earn money, just so you can pay for the bills and the necessities in life, until you have no money left, and then you have to return to your job to earn money. And that's your life, day in and day out. You probably work a job you hate, you're unfulfilled, underappreciated, and each night you are dreading the next morning. If you are anything like me, you want to escape that at all cost. The possibility of becoming stuck in that cycle terrified me. But I have good news. Those fears are gone. My work sent me to Europe to work on the product we're making. And while I was over there, I was thinking, you know, Josh, you're still working a 9 to 5, and you took a pretty large pay cut from your last job to this one, but you're not in the matrix, are you? So in this video, I'm going to share 3 ideas that help me escape the rat race, and they have nothing to do with money. In fact, these ideas are a lot more important than money, and they are never spoken about. With that said, let's go for a walk. Alright, so we are going to go climb this mountain, or really hill, and along the way I'll share these ideas that I have for you. And hopefully the rain holds off while we go do this walk. Otherwise I'm going to be in trouble. But yeah, let's go do it. So they got these trails that kind of zigzag the way up the side of the hill, but because I'm me and I need to be efficient, I'm just gonna go straight up. Fuck these zigzags. Alright, so I'm basically at the top of the mountain now, or hill, and it's pretty windy, so if the audio isn't too good, I apologize. But I'm going to give you the first idea now. Do you remember when you were younger and everyone would ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? I do, and there always felt to be a lot of pressure to make the right decision. It felt like I was about to select a path that would determine the rest of my life. Questions like, what if this doesn't work out? What if I get 1 or 2 engineering jobs and I don't like it? Does that mean that I wasted 5 years of studying and 3 years of working? It feels like a massive decision, right? But being on the other side now, I've realized that there's actually a healthier way to look at it. There are only small answers to the big questions. And by big questions, I mean 2 in particular. 1, who do you want to be? And 2, what do you want? Often we think there are definite answers to the questions, but I don't think that's quite the case. You see, your identity, who you are as a person, is a product of your relationships with other people, your experiences, and how you perceive yourself. Here's an example. After I finished my degree and started working as an engineer at a power plant, I could correctly say that I am an engineer. But something did feel off. It was like this role of engineer didn't correctly represent who I was as a Then I thought back to the days when I was younger, back to the days when I really enjoyed building things, when I enjoyed writing fuck, Jesus Christ. The wind almost blew the tripod over. Holy shit. Are you right, guys? I just saved your life. Back to the days when I would write stories in the birthday cards of my family. And after a lot of thought, I realized this job that I had at the power plant didn't allow me to create or to tell stories. What really drew me to chemical engineering in the first place was the creation of useful products from raw materials. And at the power plant, that was nowhere to be seen. At heart, I am a creator and a storyteller, and that experience at the plant was a small answer to the question of who I was. And now with the identity sorted, what I wanted became a lot clearer. I needed to find a way to create useful things while telling stories in the process. And that's how this YouTube channel was born. But YouTube doesn't pay the bills. I mean, at least not yet. And so I used the same logic to find my next job. I needed to find an engineering job that would allow me to turn raw materials into useful products. And so I waited until that opportunity arose. And then when it finally did, I applied, I got the job, and then I moved across country to Adelaide. Now I'm going on international trips to bring this product into existence. I wouldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for all the small answers in the past. And the beautiful thing about the small answers is that they are small. It reduces the significance of any one experience or any one decision. But together, they accumulate to the adventure of your life. I changed my mind. It's too windy out here, so I'm going to go back to the car and then I'll give you number 2. Alright, so what you guys gotta realize is most content online is bullshit. Especially the content about escaping the matrix and escaping the rat race. They present this completely unrealistic lifestyle where you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. But what they fail to mention is the additional stress and responsibility that you must shoulder in order to generate that amount of wealth. The reality is the wealthier and more successful you become, the more risk, responsibility, and consequences you have to bear. Take Elon Musk as an example. He gets to build electric cars, shoot them into space, he has multiple mansions, and all the money in the world to do whatever he likes. And yet, he says this.
I mean, my mind is a storm, and I don't think most people would want to be me. They may think they would want to be me, but they don't. They don't know. They don't understand.
How are you doing?
I mean, overall, okay.
That is not a free man. That is a man who feels like he has the responsibility of an entire civilization on his shoulders. Elon can't just do whatever he likes because the risk of everything crashing to the ground is real. Billions of dollars, thousands of employees, millions of shareholders. He's responsible for all of it. And you have to handle the problems associated with handling all of this. Is that a cross you're willing to bear? I'm a believer of you can do anything if you bear your cross. I know Elon is an extreme example, but on the other side, you have me. I have a pretty good idea about who I am and what I want, but living according to that brings a new set of problems and responsibilities. And that became abundantly clear when I was in Europe. I was trying to do my job as an engineer, a YouTuber, and a tourist. But I constantly felt like I was at war with myself because these different parts of me all wanted different things. However, time was a problem. The R&D work was set in stone, but to better manage the time as a YouTuber and a tourist, I wanted to make this video a travel vlog. In the video, I was going to show you guys around to the different places I was visiting while also sharing these different ideas with you. What I didn't account for was the amount of work required to make said video. I didn't know what I was going to say. I didn't know what story I wanted to tell. I didn't know what shots I wanted to take. My planning was terrible. The vlogging felt awkward as fuck. The videography was awful, and I felt a lot of imposter syndrome when I was trying to document my life. If I want to make it as a storyteller on this creative platform, the cross I need to bear is I don't get weekends. I don't get time to take it easy. I have to learn to inject more personality and creative storytelling so that these videos hit on an emotional level, not just deliver information. A part of that means I have to stomach my own cringe. I have to dial back the self-critic, and I have to allow myself to fail until I find my style. If I succeed in doing that, the money will come, the financial freedom will follow, but even then, new problems will arise. My point is, no matter the situation, there are always going to be problems. And it's your responsibility to deal with those problems. Each day you need to turn up for yourself, for your goals, and you need to bear that cross. Some days I do a really good job, and other days I do not. Picking up that cross, even though there are so many easier things you can distract yourself with, is truly a difficult thing. But now it's time to go home. All right, so here we are, back into the studio. You know, it's funny because I struggled so much over in Europe trying to plan this video, and then I planned this video to talk about these different ideas as I climb up this mountain, and then at the end, I'm at the top of the mountain, the sun will be setting, it's golden hour, and it'll just be very inspirational. Didn't turn out that way. Too windy, started to rain. So here we are, back in the bedroom. But anyway, there is something that I wanted to put to you. Let's say you built a very successful business and you sold it for $30 million. You invest some in the stock market and you buy some real estate. So now you have some really serious passive income in addition to a massive pot of cash. You are financially set for life, generations even. So now you're 32 years old and you can spend the rest of your days laying in on a tropical beach, sipping on pina coladas. What makes you think you actually want that? I mean, sure, it sounds great for about an hour, but what after that? A couple of weeks ago, I was listening to an Andrew Huberman podcast, and Andrew said something that blew my mind. I mean, seriously, I was like, no fucking way can this be real. And I looked it up, and it turns out it is real. So check this. If a hamster wheel is left out on a field, the wild rats around will find it, and then when they do, they will run on it voluntarily, and they will enjoy it. They enjoy the process of running just for the sake of running. There's no external reward. Rats want to run, and I think the same thing applies to us. We want to work. This is how we got on the concept of the rat race so wrong. This idea that we have to increase our incomes so we can stop running, so we can finally rest, and then we'll be happy. No, you don't want that. There are countless examples of people achieving financial freedom and still being unhappy because there are so many problems that remain. I am convinced that happiness is a stupid goal. Instead, you should aim at problems, but not just your own problems. You should aim at the highest thing you can possibly conceive. When you are aiming at something above yourself, the work that you're putting in, the cross that you need to bear, and the discipline that you need to have, it all becomes easier. Not easy, easier. And when you're working not just for yourself, but in service to others, you'll find meaning and purpose. I started this YouTube channel not because I wanted to be an influencer. I don't want this channel to be about me. I just want to tell you stories and give you impactful information. With all that said, I want you to imagine yourself. You are navigating life, getting the small answers to the big questions. Through your experiences and your relationships with other people, you start to get a good idea of who you are and what you want. You live your life according to your identity and your goals, despite the crosses you need to bear. And you do so not just for yourself, but in service to your family, your community, and maybe the world at large. Even though some days you do not turn up, on average you have a sense of purpose. And when you reflect on that, you smile. Now let me ask you this. Are you still in the rat race? Are you still in the matrix? I don't think so, because now you're living life on your terms. So happy New Year guys, and I'll see you in the next one.